Hello everyone and welcome back to my IELTS stream. In today's video, we are going to learn about countable and uncountable nouns and their relevance in your writing and your speaking sections. So, countable and uncountable nouns are important for your grammatical accuracy. If you know them very well, you will be very good. If you don't know them, you might lose a lot of marks in your grammatical accuracy because they are used quite frequently. So in today's video, we are going to learn about what are countable and uncountable nouns, what are their quantifiers, what are partitive expressions, and how they can be applied to your writing and your speaking sections, and how to maintain accuracy and make less mistakes. So let's go ahead. So first, we are going to talk about why we need to learn about countable and uncountable nouns. So I will give you some examples. The expression "a few coins" is considered correct, whereas "a few water" is wrong. "Several bottles" is correct, whereas "several happiness" is wrong. And why is it wrong? We will discover it later in our tutorial. Another example of why to learn about them. A bottle of water is considered a correct expression, but at the same time, a water is wrong. A lot of anger is correct, but two angers is wrong. If you mix these things, if you mix up the expressions, you will lose marks in grammatical accuracy. And you don't want that to happen, especially if you are aiming for a band 7 or a higher. So maintaining grammatical accuracy is really important in that case. And we are going to learn how are these two expressions different from each other and why is one correct and why is the other wrong. So we are going to start off by understanding what are countable nouns. So as the name suggests, countable nouns can be counted with numbers. So by numbers, I mean whole numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, simple. And they have a singular and a plural form. Means if you add s and es, or if you change the word in some manner, there is a plural form available for the noun. Example is pen or pens, book or books. And you can have one pen, you can have two pens. You can have a pen or you can have pens. You can have one book or you can have two books. You can have a book or you can have books. Let's look at uncountable nouns. They cannot be counted with numbers. They need to be measured. So the word for uncountable nouns is measured. You cannot count them by numbers as in 1, 2, or 3, but you need to measure them by volume or by their weight. And also they do not have a singular and a plural form. For example, water and sand. So water does not have a plural form. Doesn't matter if you have one bottle of water or two bottles of water, water always stays the same, and sand is always the same too. Now, how to know if something is countable or uncountable? There are three things that you need to check. The three things are: can I put a or an before it? A and an are articles which are indefinite in nature. A or a, however you like to pronounce it, is used in front of singular nouns which start with a consonant, whereas an is put in front of singular nouns that start with a vowel, and vowels are a, e, I, o, u. Another thing that you need to check is, can I make the noun plural? Is there a plural form to the noun? So if I add s or es, or if I vary it in some other manner, is there a plural form for that noun in the English language? Can I put a number before it? Can I put like a whole number 1, 2, 3 like we did for pens and books? Can we do that? Can I do that with the noun in front of me right now? These three things you need to check. And if the answer to all of these three things is yes, then the noun is countable. If the answer is no, then the noun is uncountable. As simple as that. So let us see at some examples for countable and uncountable nouns. Now, it is obvious that there are many countable nouns in the English language. It is not possible to cover all of them in a single video, but we have enough over here to get you a good idea. Countries, states, people, animals, buildings, phones, pages, erasers, topics, dollars, notes, coins, liters, kilos, pounds, etc. So I've put an etc. at the end of the list because there are of course a lot of countable nouns and I cannot name them all in just this one video. So let us see what we can do with these words and what we have done. So all of them have been written in their plural forms. So because they are countable nouns, they have a singular and a plural form. Country, countries, state, states, person, people, animal, animals. Another thing we can do is we can put a or an before them. A country, a state, a person, an animal. The third thing we can do with them is put numbers before them. One country, two countries. One state, two states. One person, two people. One animal, two animals. Same goes for the rest of them. So uncountable nouns, they are basically within these three domains. They are either liquids or powders or abstract nouns. Now, what is an abstract noun? An abstract noun is something that you might feel or something that you might want to express, like happiness, sadness, anger, excitement. All of these feelings, they are called abstract nouns and they are considered to be uncountable nouns. So examples are water, petrol, sugar, dust, happiness, money, business, milk, coffee, tea, food, sleep, pleasure, etc. So etc. then, because again the English language has a lot more uncountable nouns, so I have put an etc. at the end. So let's talk about milk. So you cannot have a milk. You can have a glass of milk, you can have a bottle of milk, you can have a sip, a cup of milk. But at the same time, you can never have a milk. You can never have one milk, though native speakers might speak like that, but it is grammatically inaccurate. Coffee. You might go to a restaurant and say, I want a coffee, but at the same time, it is grammatically inaccurate in your IELTS exam. Please don't do that. Tea, food, sleep, pleasure. You cannot add articles, a or an before any of these words. You cannot add numbers like 1, 2, or 3 before any of these words, and they also do not have a singular and a plural form. Now, let us look at how do they affect sentence formation. So now we have understood the basic concept. Now we are looking at the application. Words like few, several, many, some, a lot of, little, much. And there will be some more that we will talk about. So these words can be arranged with either countable nouns or uncountable nouns, and some of them can be collocated with both, but some of them are very specific and you cannot mix them up. And these words are known as quantifiers. Another thing is you can write a bottle of water, but you cannot write a water. You can have a piece of advice, or else you can also have an advice, but advice is something that sometimes can be used as a countable noun and sometimes as an uncountable noun. So I want to point this out, that the English language is in fact full of exceptions, and there isn't like one size fits all. So you have to be very careful while understanding things, and while applying things. You should take time with your IELTS preparation. I always tell my students that IELTS preparation is a marathon, it is not a sprint. And you should get very used to the English language. You should apply it in your regular life, read books, watch English movies, talk to people in English, make some friends that speak English. And over time, you will understand how some words are actually exceptions to the rule, and you will understand how to apply them. So the expression a bottle of water is actually a partitive expression, and a piece of advice is a partitive expression. Let us look at quantifiers now. Now quantifiers, they actually give us an estimate of the quantity of something. They tell us if something is less or more, or something is in moderation. They will not tell us about the exact number. They will not tell us about the exact weight. They will give us an estimate and a vague idea. So there are specific quantifiers for countable nouns, and then there are specific for uncountable nouns, and the third category is the one that I like, which can be used for both. So the application of countable and uncountable nouns comes down to very important quantifiers for countable nouns, which cannot be mixed with uncountable nouns, and important quantifiers for countable nouns which cannot be mixed with uncountable nouns which cannot be mixed for countable nouns. So few, several, and many are the quantifiers for countable nouns, and little and much are the quantifiers for uncountable nouns, and they cannot be mixed up, whereas some, a lot of, or lots of, and any are the ones which can be used for both. Let us look at some examples. A few coins, several umbrellas, and many countries. So these are quantifiers for countable nouns, and they are used here with countable nouns. But at the same time, if you place them with uncountable nouns like a few water, several happiness, and many sleep, they will not work. These expressions are wrong, and you will lose marks in grammatical accuracy. Now we look at the application for uncountable nouns quantifiers. A little water is correct, much happiness is correct, but at the same time, if you collocate them with countable nouns like coins, incorrect, and umbrellas, incorrect. Look at the third and the more easier list. Some coins, some water, goes with both countable and uncountable. A lot of umbrellas, a lot of happiness goes with both countable and uncountable. Any country and any sleep goes with both countable and uncountable. Let us look at partitive expressions. Examples are a bottle of water, 2 teaspoons of sugar, a pinch of salt. So all of them are used with uncountable nouns. So what have we done here? A water is wrong, but a bottle of water is correct. 2 sugar is wrong, but 2 teaspoons of sugar is correct. A pinch of salt is correct, but a salt is wrong. But we earlier thought that articles and numbers could only be used with countable nouns and not uncountable nouns. So with the help of partitive expressions, we can create phrases and sentences which will help us treat uncountable nouns like countable nouns. So let us see what they are. They enable us to express uncountable nouns by using numbers and quantifiers for countable nouns. You can also use quantifiers for countable nouns with uncountable nouns if you have a partitive expression in front of them. Let's go ahead and see how that works. How to use partitive expressions for sentence formation. Important. So this is about the application, and I hope you understand this well. Pay attention to it. So you have to start with a or an articles, or you can start with a number, or you can start with a quantifier for countable nouns. Then you can have a partitive expression, and you can have an uncountable noun. Example, which is an article, bottle, which is a partitive expression of water. Water is uncountable. So in normal situation, you would not be able to have a before water, but now you have a bottle of water. 2 teaspoons of sugar. So we have a number, we have a partitive expression, and we have an uncountable noun. Again, a pinch of salt, we have an article, a partitive expression, and uncountable nouns. An uncountable noun. So let's go ahead and look at more examples. A bit of anger, a piece of advice, several glasses of water. Now, several is a quantifier for countable nouns, and we could not use it earlier with any uncountable noun, but if we put a partitive expression between them, then we can use a quantifier for countable nouns with an uncountable noun. 2 loaves of bread. Bread is uncountable, and you cannot use any number before it unless you have a partitive expression. Few bites of food. Few, again, this is a quantifier for a countable noun, but we are using it with an uncountable noun because we have a partitive expression now and we can treat uncountable noun as countable. Many types of businesses. Now, businesses is again, it is a flexible term. It can be sometimes countable, sometimes uncountable, but if we are using in a context where it is uncountable, so it's better to have a partitive expression before it and then use a quantifier for a countable noun before the partitive expression, so the phrase is accurate. A plate of rice, 2 bowls of flour. So after we learn anything, it is always really good to go back and revise what we learned. So this is a really good mental exercise where we make a list of things that we understood and we tried to learn. So what did we learn today? How countable and uncountable nouns are important for grammatical accuracy. You just saw in the beginning when I taught you why should we study them. Some expressions are correct whereas others are wrong. Why are they wrong? So it is because of countable and uncountable nouns. What they are, we understood their actual meanings and we saw examples. How to identify a countable or an uncountable noun. We saw the list of 3 things and the simple yes and no questions. They tell you if something is countable or uncountable. Examples, we saw plenty of examples and we actually got a good look at the different range of words which are countable and uncountable, and we also got a slight idea of words which can be considered both countable and uncountable. We saw what are quantifiers. They give us estimate about the quantity of something. And we saw what are partitive expressions and how to use them. I gave you a formula and I hope you follow that, and I hope it is possible for you to understand what all of these things that we did today. So at the last, a bit about ourselves. We are an educational institute that helps students prepare for IELTS, be it academic or general, if you need it for your PLAB exams, if you need it for your admissions, if you need it for immigration, for whatever purpose. So we are called My IELTS Stream, and basically we are trying to help candidates achieve their IELTS stream. And we have services like essay and task 1 correction service. We have one-on-one teaching sessions. We have our entire course laid out where you will be provided with study material. You will be provided with structures. You will be given one-on-one training about everything. And our faculty is pretty experienced. I have 8 bands in both the modules of the IELTS test, academic and general module. I have appeared for the test 3 times, scoring 8 overall, and 7, 7, and 7.5 in writing. And we will also help you with your queries if you have any for free. We can help you with any query you want, be it in any section, reading, listening, writing, speaking, anything. You can contact us on myieltsstream123@gmail.com. You can follow us or like us on Facebook. And if there is anything you want to ask us, you can always post it in the comments. You can message us or email us. So the final thing before I end this video, I want to give you a task so that you are able to immediately apply whatever you learn. Please go ahead in the comment section and make 1 sentence with a countable noun and an uncountable noun. Use quantifiers, partitive expressions, articles, or numbers with them so that I'm able to check if you actually understood this lesson or not. I will give you feedback and I hope that it will be useful for you. So thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more from My IELTS Stream. We will be back with another video which will help you prepare for your IELTS test. You can also let us know if there is anything in particular that you want us to make, any tutorial in particular about any topic that bothers you. Thank you. Please like and share this video and let us know how you liked it. Thank you.